Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. I am as happy as a seagull with a French fry. So I don't know that I could be any better. I was very irritated and perturbed yesterday because my plans were that I would come home from work and watch the closing arguments, and then we would start, verdict watch in the Charlie Adelson case. And the jury had a completely different idea. So they obviously took one vote, and every single person said guilty as charged. And so that was the end of it. And they made no bones about it. Like they didn't even pretend like they were going to go over the evidence or consider anything. They just, I guess they were flying by the seat of their pants. They had a solid conviction that the story that was told by Katie Magbanoa was and Jeffrey Lacoste, that it was true. And that's that. I mean, it's pretty shocking. Now, I will. Hey, everybody. Hi, Jennifer Lawton. Good morning, Tennessee Volunteer. DB and ooh, jacket blue. All right. Critters. He's so guilty. Guilty in less than 3 hours, right? So, I know, like it was. That I can't even imagine what went on in the jury room. Like I really can't. Less than 3 hours, you hear that and you just think it's got to be innocent, because there's no way they had time to review any of the evidence or to consider conversation or anything like that. No, they just took their vote, they all said guilty, and they were done. That was it. It would have been really interesting to be in there to see what was it, just sort of like hanging out and, well, when would it be okay to tell them we've got our verdict? I don't know, but hey, Kelly, how are you doing? Zelda, good morning from over the edges of boring Oregon. And she doesn't mean like Oregon is boring. She means literally boring Oregon. There is a town in Mississippi called Hot Coffee, Mississippi. So some small towns are have some very unique and fun names. Pouring rain from the atmospheric river. Are y'all ready for it to be cold? Hey, Kathy R. Welcome. Good morning. Yeah. So I've got to tell you, have you ever seen anybody react to a guilty verdict like he did? He looked like he fainted. So he also turned at one point and looked at the prosecutor with complete and total hate in his eyes. I got a bad feeling, people. I think he's innocent. I think he was railroaded. I know we have to go with the jury. We have to accept that. That is the way that our legal system works. And, in this world, he is guilty of murder. I mean, it's conspiracy, but according to law, it's murder. So just as much murder as if he had pulled the trigger, himself. But it's a little bit it's a little bit scary to me, because the witnesses. Look, I know many people love Jeffrey Lacoste. I went back and watched his police interrogations, and the amount of incorrect statement. I've got a big problem with him. Just going to own it. Doesn't mean he's guilty of anything. It means that I think that he was unhappy with Wendy and the situation, and he had got some of that rage out. So he was believed, and then Katie Magbanoa was believed, and I find that hilarious. Literally, if I were to hey, Claire Gordon, if I were to ask you guys, okay, let's do it this way. Do you believe Katie Magbanua told the truth? Put a 1. If you believe she did tell the truth, put a 1. If you think she's just a bona fide liar all the way around and it is unlikely that she told the truth, put a 2. I mean, her lies would be self-serving, right? Her lies would be there to, I mean, what she's always done. How many times was she caught and verified in a bona fide lie? Just manipulative. And then how do you go? Here's what I don't understand. How do you go from saying that you didn't do it, you're completely innocent. Charlie's completely innocent. Sigfrido's completely innocent. Then you're found guilty. And so now you have an appeal saying, I didn't do it. Here's the evidence, what went wrong in the trial, and this is why this should be overturned. I didn't do it. And in the middle of the appeal, she Georgia puts her on the stand and she says, I totally did it. And Charlie did it. And the only reason I'm telling you that now is because now Sigfrido is in jail for the rest of his life. And so now I can come clean and tell the truth. Does she seem like she's a steward of a kind society? And to me, that is pretty unbelievable that anybody would know all of her lies and still believe her. That's very, very, very difficult to understand. Let's see. I found it abhorrent the way people were gloating over his verdict. But a lot of people do that. I mean, it's almost kind of like a game, right? It's like it's like calling racehorses, I guess, or your favorite team or whatever. Hey, Teresa, welcome. Good morning to you. How are you? Okay, so it's like most everybody is saying 2. Hi, Parma Picker, welcome. Hey, T, please, welcome. So most people are saying 2s. I don't see a single person saying 1. Alma is convinced that he was guilty. But everyone thought he was guilty. Like everyone. That was not in question. Told you this guy was guilty well before the eyes of the jury. And good morning to you. Yeah, a lot. No, he definitely, people were definitely solid in the Charlie did it. The guy was so easy to read. I guess my problem, when you say he's easy to read, I don't know. When was he? What do you mean he's easy to read? Like in what context? Because judging by the look on Georgia's face, judging by some of the YouTube creators' reactions saying, no, this was definitely a good day for Charlie when he testified. I don't think what do you mean you could read him? I don't know what that means. Hi there, everyone. Thank you, Curtis. Was the little things, like what? Like what little things? Because here's the problem. The problem is that, well, there's not a problem, but the issue for me, the prosecution presented a story, right? And then their evidence is designed to support their story. The problem is that everybody that helped her to tell her tale, they were all known liars. Every single one of them had a real credibility issue. And then the recordings and things, those were conversations that I know they like the code word thing. I know, but he, Georgia even misrepresented him talking about, you got to cut the head off the snake. That was definitely hypothetical. you could tell that in context, but the way she presented it was like he was being threatening to, I don't know, I guess Lewis or Sigfrido, I don't know, whoever the people were that were supposedly extorting him. Hi, Lily, including Charlie, Wendy, and Charlie, Charlie, Wendy, and Charlie. Harvey. I think you wanted to put Harvey. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Lily. That's where they're going next for sure. That the getting a guilty verdict for Charlie now definitely opens the door to the arrest of Donna. And I did say, even when I was saying that I thought that, Charlie may actually be telling the truth, Donna has a lot more really good evidence against her than Charlie had. So no, I meant Donna. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking who could be the other one. Yeah, Donna. Donna definitely she's got some problems with some of the recordings, admittedly. But I do think some of what was presented related to Charlie, I think it was presented, it's the way that Donna presented it was not the way I heard it. The way I heard it was he's just talking big, he's being a chatterbox, and he's like, no, man, here's how it works. Here's how it works. You just can't go around just threatening little people. If you have a real problem, you got to go for the big guy, because the big guy is the one that's, driving all the problems. So it's just it was contextual issue. So, yeah. So I'm mad. I was so mad last night. I was, like I said, my plans were when I finished work that I was going to be able to watch the closing arguments and, wait for a few days while they went through the evidence and had their discussions, and then get probably a guilty verdict. I was so mad. I got everything in order, got in bed, ready to go sleep, turned it on, and the very first thing was guilty. I was like, what? That's impossible. No, it wasn't. So they definitely did not believe a word he said. Definitely. Hey, allegedly with Brittany, how are you doing? I was so mad yesterday. Brittany, I did not even get to listen to the damn closing arguments. And then after I saw the guilty verdict, then I was like, well, it's pointless to watch the arguments. So I still need to watch them, right? I do still need to watch them. So strange that none of his family were there to support him. Well, I think they're scared. Why would they want to be there? I think they're scared. I think they're scared. I think they would be afraid to be there and knowing that people believe so deeply that this was like a big mafia mob family. I think they're afraid. So, but I definitely think Donna's next. Who do y'all think it will be? Diane, did you see him on the witness stand? He really came off as credible to me. I know I got this so wrong than everybody else. So wrong. As the attorney explained, when you zoom out and look at the entire picture, then it makes sense. First day missed the cross. I think that Donna struggled in the cross examination. I think that she was really frustrated because he does seem to have a really good command of all the facts. He's smart, and he did come off as like he was telling the truth. So his story is ridiculous. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that felt that, but on the other hand, if you open your mind to if you accept what he's saying, it's almost like his story is easier to believe than Katie's story. For example, at some point, I would have to go back and look, but at some point they say something like, blackmailing Charlie. There was nothing to blackmail him with. He didn't have like a drug problem. He wasn't doing bad, like weird sex things. He was, the things that typically somebody would get blackmailed for, they didn't exist, right? And so if you're Katie and you're thinking, well, I got me a rich guy and this is going to be so wonderful because finally I won't have to live in poverty. My kids will have money. We'll have a nice house and cars and all that. And then Charlie makes it very clear she's pushing to get married or whatever. And he makes it very clear, no, I'm happy like things are. I'm not a marrying kind of guy. It's not what I want. I'm married to my job, and no, not going to happen. And I think at that point that, that's when she gets back with Sigfrido. And I think she's mad. And she says, this pisses me off that he once again, he uses me and then he goes back to his rich little life. And then I'm left, living with the Latin kings. And I don't like that. I want my money. I want my piece of the pie. And then it's at that point that she begins trying to figure out ways to get money from him. And if there's nothing to blackmail him with, if there's nothing to use to say, hey, I got these photographs, sure would hurt your practice if these came out or if this story came out. She didn't have any of that. And so then the question is, well, there's like this big drama going on in his life with his brother-in-law. And if his brother-in-law were to die and we could say, we're going to totally make you the guy that did it and you won't be able to do anything about it, then I can see it. Now they have something against him. It's not real. It was concocted. That makes a lot more sense to me. That makes a lot more sense to me than this idea that the killer Latin kings, that they'll just say, okay, well, we didn't make enough money, so we'll just take a payment plan. That didn't happen. Those guys, they don't care. Find the money. They don't care. Jeffrey Lacoste came out and said, oh, well, Charlie looked into doing this, according to Wendy. Charlie looked into doing this. It was going to cost $15,000. He amended that months later to $50,000. But he was so sure with the $15,000. And me and you, who know nothing, we would laugh and we would go, what? $15,000? That's not real. The other thing that makes me laugh is, why in the world would a smart person approach this young woman that you've only known a couple of weeks and say, hey, find a hitman for me. I need to knock off my brother-in-law. 2 weeks? She knows where he lives. She knows where he works. She has met his family. Why in the world would he do that? But that's all now water under the bridge. The jury has spoken. He is guilty, and that is a final word, unless the appeals court comes back and has something to say. So he's a guilty guy. He killed his brother-in-law. Now I think the next step is going to be Donna. And if you go back and you look at some of my earlier comments, I said of all the people so far, of everything that I've learned about, Donna's really the one that looks like she's got real evidence against her. Donna's really the one. So I think Donna's in trouble, people. I think she's next. Both the prosecution and the defense cases were circumstantial. I totally agree. Yes. Mind-blowing that a mother, daughter, and son are involved. I can't wrap my head around it. Me neither, Alma. Because I keep coming back to this. Here they are. They're all living their best life. even Wendy, to some extent, is trying to live her best life. She's looking at buying a house. She obviously recognizes she has to follow the rules of what the judge said. Now, never forget Dan Broderick. Remember Dan Broderick? He tormented his ex-wife, Betty. He tormented that woman, played any type of horrible legal game imaginable, used his professional connections to other attorneys to get to her. And she lost her mind. And then once she killed the two of them that she perceived as being the people that were causing her the pain, she was in prison and she was happy as a clam. That's how crazy, how hurt she was by the amount of control that was taken from her. He took the kids, he took the money, he took the house, he took the reputation, he took the friends, he took the lifestyle, he took everything from her and drove her to a place where she would rather Dan Broderick be dead and her in prison than to try to figure out how to rebuild a life with nothing. So that shows you people can be pushed to they can be pushed to a level of abuse that when they lash out, it is lashing out in a way that is fighting for their life, right? So if Wendy experienced that he's playing all these games, whatnot, Wendy experiences this, but maybe it wasn't Wendy that lashed out. Maybe it was Donna, because I don't know about y'all, but my jaw hit the ground as Georgia's reading. Was it emails from Donna? It was emails, right? Where she's saying they haven't met the Adelson family yet. Am I right about that? There you go, Rosebud. Look at Rosebud. She's experienced that. It's a nightmare. A nightmare. I've seen it. People that have a lot of money, they know they're in the wrong, but they can drag people through the court system in a way that it destroys their life. So these poor kids stand to lose grandma, mom, and Uncle Charlie. Agreed, Alexandra. That was another point, that of all the cases out there, this case really, really matters. And the reason that it really, really matters is because there's two kids at the end of the day that really stand to lose everything they know. Everything. So I've had people say, yeah, but they can go to Dan Markel's mom and dad in Canada. Agreed. And they should have a relationship with Dan Markel's family. 100% agree across the board completely. However, if you're only considering what is good for the two kids, now they're going to lose mom, dad, grandma and grandpa, Uncle Charlie. Now they're going to lose their school friends. They're going to lose the United States, just that cultural comfort of knowing, what your day is like. They're going to be moved up to Canada. And I don't know if you haven't noticed or not, but Dan's mom and dad are not in the best of health. So this is no matter what way you choose to look at this, there is no room for celebration, because the people that pay the ultimate price are the children. Just like in the case of Betty Broderick, those kids lost everything. So this is a terrible. Should be no celebrating in this one. This is terrible. This bad deal. Boy, I thought the boys were 13 and 14. Lily, am I wrong about that? Imagine the kids asking Wendy about Charlie. 100%. And I'm going to tell you straight up, if I were Wendy today and Charlie's going off to prison, and knowing Donna's next, knowing it. If I was Wendy, I would be taking those kids up to Canada every weekend just to let them get used to being there. Let them get used to being there. Let them build an authentic relationship with the sister and the mom and the dad. That would be my number one priority right now, would be preparing my kids so that they could be comfortable and safe, knowing damn well that Granny's going up the river and I'm going to be right after her. That's how I would handle it. They were 2 and 3 when Dan died. It's been almost 10 years. So yeah, so they're 13 and 14. Yeah. Hey, boys' lives already ruined. I'm sure they have been thoroughly brainwashed. But Lily, what am I talking about? I'm talking about how to salvage things for them so that they don't get stuck in this nightmare the rest of their lives, so that they can claim some health and try to live a good life. Leela says Wendy will never do that. She hates the Markles. Yeah, no, I'm with you on this is terrible. This is one of the saddest cases that I've seen, really. It's terrible. Terrible. You've got these people so well educated and intelligent, living a great life, and it's so hard to imagine that they could not figure out how to live with a divorce. The whole entire world has been divorced at some point. Well, maybe that's hyperbole, but you get my point, right? Divorce sucks. It's horrible. But how many people have been through it, even difficult, even divorcing people that are abusive? Give it 5 years, make some good choices. You can rebuild. Sad. It's no winners here. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. Well, I guess technically the winner is Georgia, right? She's the winner. Yeah. She wins, and the other prosecutor, Sheila, is that her? I don't remember her name. Beach Life, sad. Those boys should be able to take their birth name back. Totally, 100% agree. I did not buy that story that she was afraid for their lives, and so she renamed them. No. She could have just as easily, let's say the kid's name is, I don't know what, Dusty. She could have just as easily said Dusty Markel and then add Adelson, right? She could have, that way that she could have enrolled them or whatever as Dusty Adelson to keep them safe. I mean, that's what she claimed. But she didn't have to completely remove their name. And the other part she definitely didn't have to do. She did not have to remove was it the grandma's family name? What wasn't it like some I guess historically relevant family name? I think it is interesting that the Holocaust diamond and the money that they were fighting about were actually Wendy's before the marriage. I think that was interesting. But look, people get locked in these terrible divorces all the time, and they get angry with each other. And you got 2 lawyers that are married, and then they go through a divorce. That's a good definition for hell on earth, right? They have the skills to make each other horribly miserable. So, thank you, Patty. Thank you so much. Patty, I legitimately am grateful, and here's the reason why. The whole world, 3,400,000 YouTubers, all believe that Charlie Adelson was guilty. I was the one lone fool that said, he comes off credible. His story, to me, I can live with that better than I can live with Georgia's story, the prosecution. I don't believe Katie Magbanua. I definitely don't believe Lewis. I have a real problem with some of the things that Jeffrey Lacoste said and his demeanor. And people were very angry with me, like a lot of people. They called me arrogant. And I was like, arrogant? Why? Because I'm taking a deep breath and having the courage to voice my opinion on this that is absolutely in the minority. so I'm grateful, Patty. Thank you so much. I had 12 people unsubscribe the day that I said that I thought I believed Charlie Adelson. All right. Children are always huge pawns in the divorces. Yeah. One of the kids' middle names was deleted. That's what I'm talking about, Beach Life. That was uncalled for. That had nothing to do with safety, or that was petty, you know. I also said that, oh, he's guilty, Patty. Less than 3 hours, they came back with a guilty verdict. They chose the right jury. The jury didn't even want to look at the evidence. They believed 100% was guilty. That was it. Just closed case. Done. Hey, this is me. Oh, this is me believed him. Me and you, an army of two. Okay. No, there were other people that believed it, but not many of us. We would have like 20 or 30 people in the chat. The very few people that believed that. Sammy's girl, thank you so much for being a member for 24 months, 2 years. You're a sweetheart, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And you made me feel better. I needed to see that because I was feeling bad about being so wrong on Charlie Adelson. I was so wrong. So wrong. Leela, also, Wendy's comment about the grandparents' legislation being unconstitutional. I didn't know what that meant. Now, I know that there is like, didn't the Markell family, didn't they they were able to push through some new law related to grandparents' rights, like visitation or something? Is that right? So I thought, why would she say unconstitutional? That's strange. But yes, I agree. That was a terrible thing to say. She shouldn't have said that. It showed animosity, right? It showed this battle of the wills. Apparently, Wendy, it's not unconstitutional because my understanding is it got signed into law. So how can it be unconstitutional? Sammy's girl, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. So are we all supposed to agree on everything? Absolutely not, Alma. And I did say that it was interesting being so hearing the story differently than other people did. Well, the majority did. Hearing it differently was an interesting experience for me because I'm usually right there with the big crowd, right? Nearly always. This was so different for me. It was a moment of maybe I better just be quiet and not voice what I really believe. But I can't do that because if you're not honest with yourself and with, the people that are in the community, if you don't voice what you're really experiencing, the way you see things, then what's the point of what we're doing here in these discussions and these post-game wrap-ups? What's the purpose of it if you're not going to talk about what you believe? I did see this very, very different than others. I did. I can't explain it. I don't know why. Sometimes I will find myself not really knowing, like being a bit unsure. And in those cases, I just don't contribute to the conversation. This one, I'm telling you guys, in my heart of hearts, I still think he told the truth. I know that's weird. I get it. But anyway, the jury has spoken. He has been found guilty by a jury of his peers. He is a murderer in every sense of the word and very likely will get life in prison. And I think Donna is next. And Donna, You're not going to see me saying you're innocent the way that I stood up with Charlie. I think Donna is more likely to be the one with the problem. Donna. So, thank you, Nancy. Sometimes opinions hurt, right? I like it when other people have a different opinion. It's point of view. Opposing opinions make the world go round. Definitely makes for a more interesting conversation, right? Now, I know that there have been some creators that would intentionally sort of take the opposite side of what the status quo is on some of these cases. That's not what happened here. So Bling, who's a good friend of mine, she tells me about the case a couple of months before the trial. And so I started going back and watching everything. I watched Katie Magbanow's trials, Lewis. I watched everything I could find. I kept thinking, this is wrong. This is wrong. That I don't believe Jeffrey Lacoste. I have a lot of reasons for not believing him. I certainly do not believe Lewis and Katie. And then the recordings, I do not hear what is on the transcript. It's not what I hear. It sounds like jibber jabber. Oh, gibbers. Maybe that's where the name gibbers comes from, jibber jabber. I don't know. I just thought about that. But yeah, I think Faticus, totally agree. And in fact, I laughed last night, the docket. Eric posted something on Twitter that said that Donna and Harvey were currently on the tarmac. So yeah, the minute that guilty verdict came down, we don't know. They could be gone, living their best life on an island somewhere with a mountain of gold. He is scared of the bump, but not of Katie. Gibbers was a butler. You guys are so much smarter than me. I don't know what you're talking about. Gibbers was a butler, like in like a movie, something. Oh, Faticus, I got so many problems with Jeffrey Lacoste, and I'm going to be talking about that later on. I'm going to replay his. I'm going to replay all of his interviews with the police, and I'm going to find the things that do not ring true. And by the way, did anybody take the time to figure out where it was in Tennessee that Mr. Lacoste went to? I'm going to talk about that too, because I know where he went. And there is absolutely no question that given the timeline, he could have traveled after the last meeting with Wendy. He could have traveled to Atlanta, gotten his little cheap Days Inn just south of Atlanta, turned around and gone back to Tallahassee, done the dirty deed, and would have arrived in Tennessee at his destination at exactly the time that he was seen on camera. I'll never forget it. Remember Jodi Arias. Remember Jodi Arias and the cans. This guy would have plotted out and planned. Now, what you don't have here is a relation with Lewis or Katie or Sigfrido. You don't have anything that shows that he had a connection to Latin Kings, to the people that literally pulled the trigger. We don't have that. But we do know that he reached out to Charlie the day after or the week after their meeting when they went to dinner and gushed and said, I want to be your friend. Please be my friend. Well, how do we know he didn't do the same thing with Katie? And also, Katie didn't go with him to the house. And yet he's talking about the things that he heard being said by Katie at the house. But she didn't go to the house. She left after dinner. So, there's some things. There's some issues there. Again, please don't get me wrong. 100% Charlie Adelson guilty of murdering Dan Markel, and in less than 3 hours, which means there was no doubt, not one person saw it like I did. Not one person on that jury. They were all absolutely convinced. So that's it. I'm in the wrong. 100%. I got it wrong because the jury is the one who has the last word. So, well, maybe the appeals court has the last word sometimes, but in this, where we are right now, is point in time, guilty of murder, period. Donna, you in trouble, girl. They're coming for you. I believe you are the next one to fall. I believe that in my heart. He reached out to Charlie as a jester. No, sure. Absolutely agree, JB. That's what you do when you meet others. When you meet dog. I don't know what that means. That's what you do when you meet dog others family. Maybe you're trying to say like the girlfriends, when you're meeting your girlfriend's family. Thank you, JB. Significant other's family. Yeah, no, totally agree. Sure. I had a nice time. Thank you for your hospitality. Agreed. All right. I respect the verdict of the jury. I got it wrong. So DB, Patty, we've just got to own it, right? That's what happens when you stay true to your thoughts. You go against the tide. More than likely you're wrong, because the greatest majority of people have a reason for believing what they believe. So that's that. All right. I am going to end even if you don't like the person. Oh, I wouldn't do that though. But see, again, if I met somebody and I didn't like them, I might, send a quick thank you for your hospitality. But that wasn't what this was. He was gushing, right? Like he was, hold on, I need to check this. Okay, I gotta call somebody back. He was kind of gushing. It was a little bit over the top, but he's kind of over the top, right? Speaking of people that talk a lot, talk very fast, seem to be constantly moving. All right. OJ's jury, Casey Anthony's jury, they were wrong, in my opinion. Absolutely agree. And most people will say OJ's jury got it wrong. Casey Anthony's jury drove the whole world crazy because it was, terrible. What is going on? I got a lot of phone calls coming in. Let me see what's happening here. You guys are awesome. Donna is shooting the bed. I think Donna's on an airplane, Bling. I think the first thing they did is they emptied out the safety deposit box last night, and then they got all the money out of the bank. Then they went and converted that to gold, and then they procured a private jet to fly them off to maybe Gaza, someplace without an extradition treaty. I think they're gone. I don't think they're in the U.S. anymore. Any of you, is it possible that the Adelson Institute is closed today? Inquiring minds want to know. All right. Ty was off to keep him from doing something harmful. He fainted. I think the man fainted. Legit. I think he passed out. Did anyone notice how Charlie's tie was off when he sat down for a verdict? He's a total cuck. He's articulate. He is articulate. I don't think he has anything to do with it. You're talking about Jeffrey, not Charlie. Yeah. No, I don't think he has anything to do with it. Here's my view of Jeffrey, based on the interviews. I think he had narcissistic injury when his love goddess dumped him. And I think he was very angry about that. And I think that he wanted the cops to believe that she did it. That's what I think happened. I think it was narcissistic rage. And that was, it worked out. Because he could be right. They couldn't be all killers. So They don't seem like it. They don't go along with, why would somebody work really hard, build a life that's comfortable and safe, and then destroy your life? It's weird. It's weird. Whatever. But the emails where Donna's talking about, well, he hadn't met the Adelson family. I get what. Okay, it stopped. I don't know what that sounded like, an explosion. I think she was feeling tough. Well, how dare him treat my daughter that way, and screw him, and it's all out war, and here's what we're going to do, and we're going to play psychological warfare, yada, yada, just a bunch of BS, right? Just yeah. But when she says, well, you hadn't met the Adelsons yet, you just wait till you see the Adelsons. You just sat through a trial with people telling you that this guy and this family, that they did this, they killed this man. And then you hear her talking about how they don't know what the Adelsons are capable of, blah, blah, blah. That sounds bad. So, but regardless, I think they've got some really good, some good evidence against Donna. I think, Donna, you're going down, sister. More so than what I thought with Charlie. And no way will she perform on the stand the way that he did. No way. So I don't think Harvey was involved. I don't think that. And I cannot decide. I don't think Wendy was. I don't think, maybe Wendy thought, I don't know. I don't think Wendy is a Betty Broderick, because she was working and she had friends and they were going out and socializing, but I think Donna, there was a lot of chance that she's a Betty Broderick. The murderer's own baby mama is the girlfriend of Charlie. Yeah, but having Dan dead gave her the ability to get money from him. She didn't have there was nothing else for her to blackmail him with, which is what I'm saying. Okay, we sound like we're having a war outside of my house. I got to go. Let me go see what's going on out there. And if World War III has started, I will come live and let you guys know, okay? I'll be back later this afternoon. Y'all have a good day. Bye.